Hello everyone, my name is Wabang Moa
and I'm Vijay Rako.
I'm Vikosali Zashumo and I'm overthrilled to be a part of this upcoming episode.
And we are from YB Deliveries and we are so excited to share with you our work and the services that we provide. YB Deliveries are into home delivery services which benefits not only to the customer but to the seller as well. Providing services with reasonable price at your doorstep and sustaining in the market for the next century is our priority.
I own and manage a lodge and restaurant known by its name Hotel Soleil at BOC. I've always been an entrepreneur at heart, hence my venture into business world. We provide services for birthday parties, dinners and other gatherings at our restaurant. Watch me and some other aspiring entrepreneurs getting and receiving advice from experts on the upcoming edition on the Novo Symposium.
We are also the owners and directors of Nagaland. We give agri solutions and conduct classes with experts. Know more about us in the next episode of Novo Symposium.
See you soon.
Welcome everyone to this second episode of the Novo Symposium, a business sketch under Northeast India and Beyond. This is a media platform and forum for entrepreneurs of Nagaland and Northeast India. As the facilitator and moderator, I'm Wabang Moa, the promoter and director of Highland Dawn Media, an online broadcast media house in Kohima, Nagaland. We have here with us 6 upcoming entrepreneurs from Nagaland, from Kohima, Nagaland. And I would like to request you all to introduce yourselves, starting from you.
Hi everyone. First of all, I'm very privileged and humbled to be here. My name is Vikosali Zashumo and I run this Hotel Soleil restaurant and lodge. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Kevi Sato. I'm the founder of Naga Ed and originally from family background is Konoma village. But I've been in Australia for 27 years and just returned this year. So glad to be here. Thank you for the invitation. And one thing I like to add was I was also an ex-student at your school.
Okay, great. We are proud of you. Next.
Hi everyone, I am Inakali Vichishi. I am a social media manager and also a founder of a small plant business called Foster Plants.
Hi, so glad to be here at Novo Symposium. My name is Namang Chang and I'm a co-founder of MMB Cyber School. I advocate for digital literacy, cyber safety, branding and anything that has to do with digital. And I'm really glad to be sitting among these young entrepreneurs today. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Vijay Rako and I'm the co-founder of YB Deliveries and also the director for Organic Men Nagaland. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Yamben Tangoli and I'm the co-founder of YV Deliveries and also the director of Organic Man.
Thank you all. And it's so good to have entrepreneurs from different fields. You know, we have from the educational technology, we have a hotel person, and we also have delivery as well as organic, as well as branding and whatever it is, social media. You know, for the last episode, we had a mentor and somebody, a guide was talking to us, to the upcoming entrepreneurs and giving his feedback. But today we are discussing among ourselves, peer to peer. We are going to state the business we are doing as well as the issues we are facing, and we are going to discuss among ourselves. So it's slightly different from the last time. And so I would like to mention about our guest for today, once again, is Kevi Sato Sanza. He is an upcoming entrepreneur from Nagaland and Beyond, I should say. He is the founder of Naga EdTech as well as Wonder Nagaland and founder of the Naga Homestay. And I'm sure we'll get to know more about these businesses. And born in Nagaland, Kevi Sato grew up and completed his education from Australia. And so Sato has a master's in entrepreneurship and innovation from the Swinburne University of Technology in Melbourne, Australia. So we're glad to have you today as a guest. And so glad to have you, 6 upcoming entrepreneurs from Kohima as well as Inakali, right? You are from Dimapur, so
Yes.
we appreciate you coming all the way from Dimapur. So we'll interact with one another, tell our stories, share our stories, as well as discuss whatever issues we have to learn from one another. So please allow me to introduce the show once again. Our discussion today, Novo Symposium, is derived from the word Novo meaning new, Symposium meaning meeting of a group of people with opinions and ideas. So today, Novo Symposium is the second episode of our weekly series under Northeast India and Beyond, a media platform for entrepreneurs of Nagaland and Northeast India. And the value and content which entrepreneurs of Nagaland and Northeast India will receive is not only to network and exposure with one another, but also for personal and growth mindset. We are looking forward to that for ourselves and for our businesses. So personal growth mindset. Right now, NEIB, Northeast India and Beyond, is an online media forum initiated by Highland Dawn Media. Under NEIB, currently we have around 60 plus entrepreneurs as members of our Facebook and LinkedIn Facebook network. So one of the goals of NEIB, besides entrepreneurship development, is to promote entrepreneurship to our audiences and general public of our region. That is, for our public to develop an awareness of the importance of local businesses, entrepreneurship, and support our entrepreneurs, as well as awareness for the public for the current local economy. So today, let's start our discussion. I want all of us to start introducing our businesses, your story, and the issues we are facing with our businesses so that we can discuss. So once again, we start from the right.
Once again, I run and manage this Hotel Sile, where lodging and fast food is available. We initially started back in the year 2019, and after that this pandemic was hit on us. It was a very huge challenge, but initially we started normally. So right now I have 2 to 3 employees, and I'm also a full-time employee there. The location is located at BUC Kohima. Our restaurant is mainly focused on fast food. We also provide services for social gatherings, birthday parties, and any other programs on advanced booking. We also have a page in Instagram known by Hotel Sile, and you can please follow and you can do your bookings if required. Our main focus is on economic customers. We provide limited facilities, but catching up with these economic customers, it's a new business venture. I urge our Naga fellow friends to support, to come visit the restaurant and even the lodge, give your feedback, suggestions, and let's promote local entrepreneurs. Thank you.
How has been your experience, combining a restaurant and a lodge? I mean, does it support one another? And
yes, basically, in the initial time, the business was only for lodging. So what made us come up with the restaurant was that customers started to ask for fooding as well. So with that thought, we even started this restaurant. So
what are the issues you face, and were there any problems where we can also pitch in?
Regarding in the lodge, we have different customers from different backgrounds. Some customers are not happy with the facilities we provide, but like I said, our focus is on economic customers. So sometimes I find very difficult to convince the customers with the facilities we provide here. And like Kohima is a very expensive place. We have to buy water, we have to pay rent, we have to pay taxes. So customers coming from other cities like Guwahati or say Dimapur, with the amount that I charge, they comparatively they get better back in Dimapur. So sometimes I get really hard to convince them as well.
I think before that,
yes,
like you are saying that Kohima is a very expensive city. That is very true. It is one of the most expensive cities in India, I should say. And so that is an issue which all of us are facing. So you said even the water supply, rent, plus even taxation, right? I mean, I want to open it up to all of us. Like, why is Kohima such an expensive city? And what issues you are facing also in your businesses because the costs are so high?
I think it's mostly because of the logistics. Since we are located in a very hilly terrain areas, the products, the FMCG and the products that being brought here for the retail selling.
I should say that is one of the main reasons, but that is not transportation network is improving, and that is one excuse whereby everybody thinks that that's because we are so far away. But actually, that does not really justify. You know, the cost is even higher, because double times the transportation cost. So, besides that, any other reason?
We were having a brief discussion about this earlier, and I've only been here for a very short time, so everything I say is from about 6 months worth of experience. So don't take it as gospel. It's just my observations in the past 6 months. But one thing I've noticed is that especially for products and services coming out from outside, the local customers are yet to become knowledgeable about the value that they're receiving. So there's a severe lack of competition here. So there are very few entrepreneurs and there are very few businesses. So with the few entrepreneurs and the few businesses, there's less competition. Everybody knows competition can drive down prices. So one aspect of it is that there might be a bit of a monopoly on certain areas. So if you want to get a car from Maruti, you might go to only a few places. If you want to go to a fridge, or if you want to get different, you might go into only a few places. They're not lots and lots. So that keeps prices high. The second thing that I've observed is that the customer themselves, for most part, is not knowledgeable about what a good price or good value should be. So one example is, I think I was saying, I had my washing machine installed, and the person installing the washing machine was talking about how Kohima is a gold mine. How when people from out, he wasn't from Nagaland, he wasn't Naga, he was from further afield, and he was just saying that Kohima in particular is a gold mine because you can charge almost any price for anything, and people don't really argue. People don't haggle as much as they would in Dimapur, because you're in Dimapur, right across, you go 100 meters or something, you're in Katkati, and the prices drop dramatically, right? So people are a bit aware about pricing and how pricing and value should be. But here in Kohima, what I've observed and what people have told me, like this fellow as well, is that people don't really venture out. A lot of Kohima people are from Kohima and stay in Kohima, so they're not really aware of the price discrepancy between here. And I think then businesses are capitalizing on that. So I think that's one aspect which is keeping and driving prices high. Another thing that, again, through observation, is that there's a more of a disparity between rich and poor in Kohima than in Dimapur, if I'm correct.
Yeah.
I think in Dimapur there's more middle class, right?
Yes.
So with the more middle class, then there's more to get middle class prices. But in Kohima we have a very rich class, spurred on by government jobs, and where the capital is central. So a lot of people want to market themselves to that category, and that category can afford a lot, right? When you have less of a middle class, it's less of a market, so there's less opportunity to give middle class prices. And then we have people who are low income or in a more economic situation, so the price is always to go after that higher market, and I think that also drives prices higher. So from my short observation, those are a few things happening here.
I feel there is no price regulation in our district. So a person can sell for, say, like 10 rupee product can go up to 20 to 30. So if such regulations have been put up, say like, for example, pork meat. Everybody loves pork meat. But if we, say I go to a market and get pork, just say like for a kg, they'll add intestine or whatnot that we don't like at all. So by adding that, we get the nominal rate. But supposing we pay an extra premium, say another 50 rupees or so, we get the desired part that we get. It's inclusive of beef, mutton or anything. So like if there's a regulatory board and if they give a proper, say, sign or say like something, some check and balance, it's not only the consumers but also the authorities regulating this market, let's say. If that is a bit clear, I guess we can bring an equilibrium regarding the price in our market here. Because I feel the meat here is more costly than Delhi. To to be frank.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, like municipal council as well as the chamber of commerce, they are also supposed to, and they are also sort of regulating it. But perhaps, I mean, it's not going on all the time, and so prices are being increased arbitrarily. But we are also going out from beyond the scope of a discussion. But I want to bring it back to, you know, like the high cost of living as well as expenses here. Is it affecting your businesses, your entrepreneurship here in Kohima or Dimapur, wherever it is?
To get a product, as a consumer, we go for the right price. As our brother say, he have said, like we need to be wise with what we pay and what we choose. So in terms of that, I don't think we're getting bad products here.
While you think about it, I think the cost of living or the standard, it actually have a pros and cons. Like if somebody have a very high standard of living, so the seller or somebody who is catering to those standard of people have a good benefit, but otherwise it doesn't make any benefit to the people who are living below that line. So if I'm somebody, just assuming I'm somebody who prefers to buy expensive stuff, only expensive stuff, and then assuming that I'm living in Kohima, then of course I would only prefer people who are selling, you know, maybe exclusive products or some luxury stuff. Then I am contributing to those kind of sector. But if I'm somebody who like living below the line, then yeah, I cannot afford those. Then I'm not contributing anything in that sector, nor does that to me, like vice versa.
Yeah, there's a big gap in incomes as well as in the style of living. Like actually, back to the restaurant thing, like you were saying that you are catering to the lower income group, is it?
Yes.
Right. So we have restaurants here which cater to the high income group also. So the people there, they don't mind spending say 300, 400 for one sandwich, and then they go for the facility, the ambience, they go for the drinks or whatever. So they pay so high for such, I mean, ordinary food items. Okay, just a sandwich with some cheese and just you know. So there's an obvious lack of a very big discrepancy, gap in the incomes as well as gap in the style of living. There's so many things. So one question is that to which category of income your business is serving, or would you like to target income group we are serving, or we are looking for as clients?
We thought about that for a long time. So we're doing digital education, or digital education, and bringing digital education tools to students, to schools. And we found that there was very little penetration in Nagaland, and generally in the Northeast and in tribal indigenous communities. But one of the big barriers was actually price. So if you think of some other, EdTech companies like Byju's, a single course is 30,000 rupees. Somebody was telling me that they're paying 70,000 rupees for their child in class 3 to access Byju's. So these things are quite exorbitant, right? Especially for our local community. There are some who can afford it, but I would argue that 80% plus of Nagas cannot afford that, right? And I think we all can agree with that kind of saying. So what we really worked was to really drive down the price. So that was something that we're quite conscious about. And so we weren't really specifically trying to target high income. We weren't even specifically trying to target low income, right? We're trying to get the middle band. And so that's how we're adjusting our pricing. So we're quite intentional about it because we want to be broad reach, especially as a social impact company, not just pure profit, but impact as well. And so that's what we adjusted our pricing to. And that's what we wanted to move forward. Of course, the value that we're adding, if you compare the same technology, the same content, the same materials, right, and you went to a company from either pan-India or from outside, you would be paying 30 to 50 times more. And that's actually a fact. If you compare all the companies, we priced against all the companies. And we just felt that was impossible, right, for 80% of our Naga community. So that's really where we focused ourselves on. So quite intentional about the pricing. I don't know what you guys did about your pricing strategies.
To my knowledge, as our brother has said, Regarding pricing, yes, we are also trying to find the right price. Supposing the price of the fuel goes up, it disrupts everything in terms of our logistic home delivery service. And also sometimes it affects even the major basic products. Say, example, Dimapur in Kohima, supposing there's a landslide. And if the goods doesn't reach for a day or two, we see the prices shooting up, and also there's panic. And like here, as we have said, there are lots of rich people here in Kohima. The rich people, they'll go and try to grab everything. That's the trend here. So like here, I think we're living in fear. Everybody's living in fear in terms of.
Can you give an example of what item when it goes scarce, then there's demand by the upper income group?
See, basically meat.
Meat.
We love meat. So like.
Back to pork.
So one example should be meat, I guess, and the other, say, I can't just blindly say, but like. It can be any basic needs that we use every day.
I think during the pandemic, they started
Especially.
hoarding tissue papers and sanitizers. Yeah, so like hoarding is a trend. Like when there is a scarcity.
Including rice bags,
Yeah.
a lot of rice, a lot of flour.
And even fuel, if I remember. Fuel,
Hoarding fuel.
Yeah.
And I think this leads back to your point, what you were saying, that this is because of that disparity. So, for example, if I was very wealthy and I was buying pork at 300 or 400 or 500, it went very high. Even if it went up to 800 rupees per kilo, right? As a percentage of my income, I can't even count it as a percentage, right? If I'm very wealthy, right? If the price of pork doubled, tripled, quadrupled, 5 times, 10 times more, I had to pay 1,500 rupees per kilo. Of course I would complain, but I think if I was at that top 1%, top upper echelon, then it still wouldn't be an issue. I wouldn't even be able to say it's 0.0001% of my income. Whereas then there's the middle gap missing, right? Then we have a lower income. Whereas if it went that high, many people will not be able to afford it. So I think that disparity again, saying what people can do, aren't able to do, is another thing that has the capability of driving up prices, which we were talking about earlier.
Also adding to that, the Sir was asking about like how is this expense, the high cost of living affecting our business, right? The prices, right, ranging, shooting and like so high. This is entirely affecting our business as well. Right, because again, it's not that like all of us were going to be buying and reselling, right? Yeah, so I don't know about your businesses, but my business, it's a homegrown business, but still then like thinking at your perspectives, you're buying and reselling, you're cooking and you're buying the items and cooking and reselling, right? So again, see, when the prices are already high, you cannot keep the prices low again, right? You need to have your labor charge, your time, then everything that will come under like preparing the food, the item, right? So maybe this is the reason why it's affecting our business so much, maybe because again, see, we cannot just be like there, I mean like trying to keep it very minimum, right? Yeah, because again we also have to pay our rents and we have to pay our employees. See, all these things we need to generate money, right? From where the money is coming from, the food that you are making, right? So this is entirely affecting our business, your businesses, right?
I would like to supplement our sister. Well said. And practically I've been experiencing that. Example, the price of the pork suddenly hiked in the market, but I cannot just increase the price of my menu. So business is all about customer relation, making relation with customer. So example, I have a few customers who take from me regularly, and suddenly I hike the price. So there's a tendency that I could lose them.
Yeah.
So sometimes without profit, I have to give my service. So that's how sometimes we have to sustain our business.
Yeah.
So that is also a big challenge for
Sure.
a business like us.
I think some of them maneuver it through by reducing the quantity, I guess.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Do you do
Yeah.
that?
He was saying like compromising with the quantity.
Yeah.
One thing that I've tried to do in our accounting is trying to budget for those fluctuations. So ours is not, we're not at a restaurant, right? We don't have, so trying to build that in. So one thing that I've noticed is that if the price changes drastically going up and down, right, then the customer is more discontent, right? But if you have a standard price, and that's something that is consistent and they can expect, well then there's less discontent from the customer. So trying to buffer some of that in. So let's say normally if you were charging 100 rupees for your meal, and then during the price hike of pork, to make a profit you have to charge 110, 115, 120, whatever it might be, right? Then instead of consistently charging 100, charging 110. So when there's a price hike, your profit is less, but you're not losing money. So you're kind of like saving up money over time, knowing that difficult times are coming ahead. So I don't know if that would work.
I think it should work.
Yeah.
Business is all about long-term investment.
Yeah.
So we should be like taking our own business to a future plan. So first of all, it's the initial time. It's all about customer relation, making our genuine customers. So eventually, that's how a business should work.
So making the price slightly higher so that in case it rises in the future, you have a buffer, or you don't lose too much, right? Okay.
Safe zone. Yeah, safe
Yeah.
zone. Yeah.
And I think we'll go to the next. To KB Sato. If you can share more about your business. And
Yeah. So we run a digital education company. So what we're really focusing on is bringing digital education or leveraging on digital education tools to improve education outcome or student outcomes. So I'll just go into a brief background. So when we first started, we were looking at the challenges that people in our community are having. And one of the first challenges that we came across was the content and what was being delivered. And again, we're talking about a large discrepancy. So if you're in a village, if you're in town, from schools to school, there's a discrepancy in the quality of the education content material, right? So what we want to do is bring some of that consistency and bring about quality materials. Right now we're working with science, social science, maths, and English, so core subjects for 9 and 10. The other thing that we noticed was that there wasn't a lot of opportunities for teacher training or professional development. If you do your B.Ed or if you do your M.Ed and you did it 10 years ago, education has changed, right? But if I'm a teacher, where am I going to go, right? It's not like every week I can go to a workshop. It's not like every month I can go to a workshop. There are not as many opportunities. So we focused heavily on teacher training and teacher development, especially using digital tools. The last one was the distribution and access. So how do people access quality education, right? That again was quite distributed. So we worked on developing a blended model, which is both online and offline and face-to-face, and tying those two together so that as many people can access that quality material as possible through a learning management system. So in that sense, that's kind of the three areas that we work in. And on the ground, what it looks like is we go to a school, we train the teachers on how to use learning management system or digital education tools, we provide the materials, and then we give access to the students. So that's kind of our business in a nutshell. The challenges that we're having mainly are to do with hiring. So I know we have the highest rate of unemployment, youth unemployment in India, I think 21.7% or 21.4%, somewhere around that mark. But hiring is still becoming very hard, right? So the skills that we require, for example, we're in a new field. So we needed this job called learning designers. That actually doesn't exist here. Nobody knows what a learning designer is. A learning designer is somebody who creates courses by utilizing technology, right, to create digital courses. Now that doesn't exist here. So I did an ad in Nagaland Post, Murung Express, online, social media, learning designer, couldn't get hired. So what we did was we advertised for high school teachers. We got lots of applications. So then those high school teachers, we train them ourselves. They go through a 3-month training program in-house. And by the end, they're hopefully a learning designer. So that's the main problem with HR, and that's across all of our roles. The other main challenge that we're having is around conveying the value that we're adding to an institution. That's a very big challenge.
To a school or college? Or
school or college or any educational institution. Because if you were to go to Delhi, if I was going to go to Bangalore and I said this is the product, right? The standard price will be around 30,000, maybe 20,000. Might get as low as maybe 10, 15,000 per student, right? But we're offering it at so much less than that. But because our market is not aware of what these tools are and what the market price is, they don't understand the value. So a lot of times when we talk to institutions, we say, we'll do all of this, this is what you get, this is what you get. And one, there's a lack of understanding sometimes of what the value of that thing is. Like if you're going to buy the same thing in Bangalore, how much you would pay for it. I think one is that challenge. The other thing is, again, because we're quite a nascent market, how much it's needed, right? Because it's something that we haven't had in the whole of our history. Like schools don't have really digital education, right?
Totally new.
Totally new, right? But with the new education policy, the National Education Policy 2020, and a focus on Digital India, and a focus on education technology globally, and just the way that we're heading, within a good 5 to 10 years, it will be close to mandatory. So again, it's hard to say, hey, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, you will need this technology. Because right now we don't need it. I mean, we're going by without need. I would argue we need it. And we need it because we have the highest unemployment, we have all these education issues. I would argue we need it. But it doesn't seem to be a priority and necessity. So those are the two main challenges we have. Like customer awareness, and then our own hiring HR issues. Yeah. So those are the two main things we're dealing with.
That's, I mean, for new new technologies or new fields, like, I don't know, like even social media, branding, or even media, multimedia. Of course, media is now common, but there are some fields where people don't realize yet the value of it, right? So we are in that nascent stage, like you said, and our I mean, it's going to come. We're going to need more digital marketing or video marketing, these sort of services, because everybody is into media, whatever, into social media also. So like that's a new field, a new area. So that's the challenge you are facing, and whereas the challenge is very different from what Sele is facing, Hotel Sele. So, do you have any feedback, any thoughts about what he shared?
Do you feel people are scared of change?
Oh, 100%.
Everywhere in the world.
Right? 100%. That's universal, right?
Is that what they call fascism?
And what was the second part of that question?
And with your business model here in Nagaland, do you think it will work 100%? 5 years from now, if it's like that?
I think in terms of the business itself, I think whether it's us, if it's me or somebody else, there will be a domination of digital education here between 5-10 years, right? I'm not saying it'll be Naga Ed, but I'm saying somebody's going to be there. Whether the company is from Bangalore, whether the company is from Kohima, who knows, right? So I'm banking on that it'll be me. That's why I'm here.
Or rooting for you.
I'm rooting, so I'm confident. But in reality, I'm not saying that it will be Naga Ed, but I'm saying in reality there will be an influx, of digital education technology. So I think that will happen. In terms of the fear question, I think that's absolutely true. So I'll tell you a little about what we've been doing about that. So in the first instance, especially when we do our trainings, we work with a lot of teachers to explain that we're going into the unknown, right? And I think it helps to give something a name, right? When something is nameless, you don't know how to combat it, right? But if we go into the first training we do with teachers, we sit down and we say, this is called the unknown. This is anxiety that you're feeling, right? Because you don't know what it's going to look like. It's something new. This is how we're going to combat it. So first thing we do is calling it out, right? And even broader before that, one thing that we were going through was teachers, right? Because we do a lot of teacher training. Teacher is the way that we deliver our platform. Teachers are normally the holder of the knowledge. So if you're in a class, you're a student, sir, miss, and they're supposed to know everything, right? So they themselves feel that responsibility. If you're a teacher, you actually feel a responsibility. I should have the answer for my student. Also, I don't want to lose face. But when it comes to technology, many of them may not have the answer.
Yeah.
Right? So all of a sudden there'll be some smart boy or girl inside the classroom. Sir, miss, that smart screen is not working like that. It should be working like this. Then a power imbalance comes in, right? That makes the teacher more resistant to adopting the technology because their role and their position in the classroom is being threatened or changed. Right? So in terms of like our adoption or our strategy or business model moving forward, that's why we concentrate a lot on teachers, that we elevate their knowledge so they themselves become comfortable and they are advocates in the classroom for the adoption of digital education. Otherwise, I think in a lot of our businesses, we have to think about the psychology, the experience that our customers and our consumers are going through. What is it that they're feeling? Right? Because it's not necessarily about this is the best price, this is what it's like. How do you make them feel? What are they feeling? What are their fears? What are their anxieties? What are the benefits that they see? So in that kind of sense, that's one example, but we do concentrate a lot on working through those feelings and working through those anxieties and understanding the benefits with our teachers or whoever we're working with.
So you do that in the initial part.
Yeah.
When you're starting the course.
Yeah. And we do it at the end, and then we do it again throughout the implementation.
Okay, different type of question. What is one thing you would wish to change about the educational system in Nagaland from what you have seen?
This is a challenging question, but again, I'll go to the same topic, which was teachers. I really believe teachers are the avenue, and the reason I believe this is because I had some really good teachers. So I think maybe, I don't want to speak for everybody, maybe some of us, high school was challenging, right? For me, I was in a foreign country, didn't know, I was the only Naga in my school for hundreds of schools to come. Whereas the Chinese had the community, the Caucasians had the community, Italians had the community, blah, blah, blah. So teachers made a huge difference in my life, right? The support, I was that annoying student who was always friends with the teacher, right? So I really believe teachers make a difference in the students' lives. So I think, especially recently, we've going through some news articles about the way that teachers practice and the proxy teaching and everything like that. So one thing I would change is, there are many things that we can improve, but one thing I think, to understand the value that the teacher brings to the student's life. I think teachers themselves don't understand that value.
Mm-hmm.
So they go for proxy teaching or they go for these issues that we have because I don't think there's a complete link or understanding of how much they can actually change the life of somebody or somebody's life direction. I think if they knew that, right, we might see a slightly different attitude.
The value which teachers themselves have I mean, for educating the student, as well as the value the teachers have in their own perception of the work
of their role.
Of
Yeah,
their
yeah,
role.
yeah, yeah.
Okay.